Alright guys, so this video I'm going to be showing you how to actually make the repurposing content workflow automation using make.com. So this is going to be a very useful video if you want to actually learn how to make it from scratch, follow the steps that I took, and actually learn how to troubleshoot and go through errors and things like that. So this is actually going to be a live training that I put together. So yeah, and by the end of it, you're going to have a better understanding of how to make AI automation for repurposing content. Now, if you're somebody that's watching this video and you actually want to learn more about AI automation, then I highly suggest that you watch the basic foundation course for make.com, basically showing you just the basics of the software, how to build, what is this for, as far as on the beginner friendly level. Yeah, and then not only that, in this course, I also offer a lot of resources that you're going to find very, very useful in the Facebook group. So in order to get access to those resources, you have to join the Facebook group and join the community. My goal is to build a community to help each other out. So I'm all in the business of helping, but also being able to get help from people as well. So vice versa. We're all in this to learn together and give back and help. So if you found any of this useful, then be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I want to hear your thoughts. You can also reach out to me on LinkedIn, follow me on LinkedIn. I also have like my TikTok, things like that there. But again, if you want the resources, please follow the Facebook group and feel free to introduce yourself, and there you'll be able to actually find the the blueprint for the content, the repurposing content, as well as what else. You'll be able to find the master prompt, and you'll also be able to find the repurposing content engine that we're going to be using a lot in this video. Okay, so I also want to know your thoughts and what you think about it, and if there's anything else that you would like to me to make content over. I know I will also be making a prompt engineering playlist for marketing purposes, so for AI marketing, because I really do believe that it's important to put the right type of prompts into AI in order to get the best value for what you need. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this. Guys, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Maury Malvo. I have experience in paid media and AI automation and AI in general, and I'm on a mission to teach and give back to the community and on this journey of learning AI myself. So everything that I learned about AI as far as for marketing purposes, and basically that's the industry that I'm in, I want to give back and help. I also have another YouTube channel called Mopay Media, which I will leave right here. You can find it in the description, where I help people learn how to actually make ads, make Facebook ads and Google ads and things like that. So yeah. Oh, and feel free to follow me on LinkedIn, things like that. So yeah, that's my introduction. So yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into building this content repurposing workflow automation. And before I get started, there are a few things that I want to show you and a few things that we're going to need to get, I guess, built out before we actually start the automation. So first thing is, I actually want to show you what the completed automation looks like. So we're going to have a Google Sheet. It's going to be basically this content repurposing engine, and this is going to be our, just like our heart, right? This is going to be our heart of the automation. This is going to be able to tell us what status we're on, the channel ID, client name, the YouTube URL, or the blog post, whatever. For this case study, case use, we're just using the YouTube URL, the video title, the folder URL, the production document URL, along with the transcript, and then the prompt key and the prompt version. So I'm gonna have that also. So that's technically called the video queue. And then we're gonna have the channel profiles, which pretty much lets us know what channel ID this is for, the voice profile, the target audience, as well as the default offer, the default call to action, and any bandit phrases along with special instructions, and then the prompt register. So that's going to let us know the prompt key, the version, the document ID, the status, the output frame format, as well as the updated date. Okay, so now basically we're going to get this built out just with the table along with the columns for like being able to label the columns, and then each of these sheets are going to be built out before we actually start the automation. Another thing that we need to get is a folder in Drive. So for this tutorial, I'm going to be using Google Sheets. Okay, so Google Sheets, and I'm going to be using Google Drive. So if you do not have a Gmail account, you need to make one in order to have access to the Google Work Suite, where they have all these different tools that you can use, from Google Drive to Google Sheets and Google Documents. Okay, so within our Google Drive folder, we're going to be having a folder called Content Repurposing Engine, and that is going to have 3 different folders. The first one is the in production folder, and then we're going to have the templates as well as the prompt library. So I'm going to show you how to build that out too. And last but not least, we're actually going to have within the in production folder, we're going to have little folders within that called basically the repurposing test, which goes back over here to the video queue for based off the video titles. So don't worry about all that right now. That's the purpose of this video, is to show you how I built this out. So when I click into one of these folders, it actually takes me to the content pack, which is where our repurposing content is actually going to be, to where we're going to be able to, like, hypothetically speaking, me review it before it actually gets posted out online. Okay, so of course we always want to make sure that with any automation that we have, especially when it comes to publishing content, that there's always a human there to actually review it and make sure that it sounds good. Not only that, to also add that human touch to it, so that way it doesn't sound robotic or just, we always want to add that little bit of that taste to it, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this. All right, so first thing, aside from making a Gmail account, if you don't already have one, the next thing that you're going to actually need is make.com. Now, the cool thing about make.com is you can actually get a free account. So if you come right here and you just type in make.com, I'll leave the link in the description down below, but you just go to get started for free. You don't need a credit card or anything like that. You can sign up for the free plan, in which that's the plan that I signed up for. But I'm just going to give you just like a quick walkthrough of what the make.com UI looks like. So the user interface. All right, so I'm logged in, and as you can see here, I am on the free plan, and basically with the free plan, you are able to get 1,000 credits, and you're also able to have 2 active scenarios. So we're going to get into scenarios a little bit later. My goal for this video is to, as I'm building out these workflow, I also want to explain to you what these different nuances are. So we're not going to spend too much time right here, but we are going to be spending a lot of time in this scenario. So if you have not already, make sure you pause this video and make a make.com account right now. When I do these trainings, the whole goal is for you to have it pulled up side by side while you're watching this video, whether if it's on your phone that you're watching this video, or on your tablet or on your laptop. But do your best to actually follow along, because that is the best way to actually learn, is to get the information and then go out there and build it. Okay, so again, you can find the link in the description down below. All right, so assuming that you have already made your make.com account, you're going to go over here to scenarios. So that's to the left hand side, and you are taken to all your scenarios. So if you're just making an account, you won't have any scenarios, but this is where your scenarios are going to live. So what is a scenario? A scenario is pretty much Make's way of making automation. So it's a use case, how you would use this, how you would use AI automation in order to accomplish a task. So as you can see here, I have 2 scenarios. I have the Make Foundation use case, and then I have the integrated Google form. Okay, so if you ever want to create a new scenario, you'll just come up here to create a scenario, and then not only that, you can organize your scenarios adding folders. So start out, I want to make sure that we're staying as organized as possible. So I'm going to make a folder and I'm going to call it repurposing content. Okay, so I'm just going to call it that and I'm going to save it. Now, when I actually, going to make it the scenario for repurposing content, I just click on the folder and then I come up here. So right now it's in the folder, you can see, and then I'm going to actually create a scenario. Okay, now I'm opened up to the actual scenario, I guess, creative canvas or Canva. So as you can see, I'm greeted with this big old purple plus sign. That is where I'm going to be able to build my automation, my workflow. Up here, this is the name of the scenario. So always want to say super organized. So we're going to say repurposing content. Oops. Engine. So repurposing content engine is going to be the name of my scenario. Okay, and then also I do want to say that I am coming out with a tutorial just of the workflow or the make foundation, covering all of these into further detail, from explaining what this toolbar is at the bottom to how you can actually build scenarios for yourself, just the basics of it. All right. So then now that we have that, now we're going to actually start building out our Google Drive folder. So I'm gonna come over here, and then there are, let's go right here to new folder. Click that plus sign. Now again, remember repurposing content engine. So that's what I'm going to name my folder. And within this folder, we're going to have 3 other folders. So I'm going to come right here, I'm going to click it, and we're going to add 3 other folders. So I'm going to add a new folder, and that's going to be 02 and then production. Okay, so I'm going to create that folder, and then I'm going to create another folder called 03 templates. And then I'm going to make another folder called, let's see, oops, 04 prompt library. Okay, so now these are the 3 folders that I'm going to need, and basically the production folder is where I'm going to be able to have my Google Doc with the actual content. So let me, this folder, the repurposing or in production folder, is going to actually show the content pack, so the content repurposing pack. Okay, and this is just pretty much the already used folder or the already created folder. And then also I'm going to have my content repurposing engine, I'm going to move it into this folder as well. So let me go back here so that way you're able to see it. Okay, all right. Now there are a few things that I need to make. So after I get done making my 3 folders, then I'm going to go back to Google, and then I'm going to go to the Google Docs. Well, just kidding. I'll save that for later. I'm going to go to Google Sheets, excuse me. Oh, another way I can do this is actually, I'm in the folder right here, and then I can just go to Google Sheets, start from a blank sheet, and then I'm going to rename this, let's see, repurposing repurposing, oops, repurposing content engine. Okay. Now I'm going to add video queue down here. This is going to be the name of the sheet, called video queue. So with the video queue, this is going to be our starting grounds of the actual repurposing content engine, to where we can actually know the status that our video is going through, as far as going through the actual automation process, to the channel ID, aka what client channel this is for, along with what YouTube video we're using and the name of the YouTube video, along with the transcript, and some other stuff that we're going to add to the video queue is going to be like the prompt key, letting us know what prompt was used, as well as when the prompt was updated, or when, like, what prompt did we use to run this scenario. Okay, so we're going to build out the video queue first. Alright, so that I'm not wasting too much time, I'm going to actually come right here to my already finished product, and I'm just going to copy the column names, or the row names, excuse me. Then I'm going to go right back here just to save some time. And I'm just going to copy it right over here. And then, actually, I'm just going to go like this. How about that? Okay. Now, again, the video queue, as far as the names of the columns, we need status, channel ID, client name, YouTube URL, video title, voice profile, target audience, main offer, call to action or CTA, folder URL, the production document, transcript, the prompt key, and the prompt version. So we need all of these. So I might leave the video queue, basically the repurposing content template, down below. Just check that out. It should be like free resources or tools that you'll see in the description down below, so that way you don't have to type everything out. Okay, so got that, and then next thing is we're actually going to start filling this out. First thing that we want is the status. So there are different types of statuses that we're going to need. The first one is let's see, there are a few. So new, processing, ready for ChatGPT, complete, error, test, and ready for review. There are a couple that I'm actually going to use. It's going to be new, and then ready for review, as well as error. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that going. I'll just come right here. Okay. Now, to save time, I am actually going to pause as I'm building this out, just so it doesn't take too long. But again, I'm going to actually leave the template down below, so that way you have it already to help you save time too. And now I got my statuses set up. The next thing would be to add a channel ID. Now this is based off of what channel ID you want to use. Like if you want to do the name of the channel underscore the name of the client, it just depends on what you want. But for this instance, I'm just going to do Mo Media. Let's see what I actually put. I think I put Mo Media. Oh, Mo Paid Media. So that's actually the name of my YouTube channel. Mo Paid underscore. Well, it's the name of one of my YouTube channels where I'm teaching my audience about paid media. Okay, and then client name, I just put Maury. The YouTube URL. So in order to get this, you actually have to go to the YouTube video and pull the URL. Now for this, I already have a URL for this one. So I'm just going to plug it in right here. and then the title. So for the video title, since we are building this out and then just testing it, I'm just going to put test 1. Now, once you are building this out, you could do test 1, but after you build it out and you know that it works and you just want to try it on different YouTube channels, different YouTube videos, then you would need to put the YouTube video title. And then the channel profile. Now for this one, we can actually just skip this. You don't even really need the channel or the voice profile. Let's see if I put it on here. Yeah, you technically don't need this because that's what we're going to have the actual channel profile sheet at the bottom for. So actually I'm going to go ahead and take this out. So I have the video title. We're just going to have test 1, and then for the folder URL, you don't need to put anything right there because with the automation, once we run it, it will actually put the link to the folder URL, aka this link, whatever folder that we're using. It would actually pull this link up here and put it into the Google Sheet right here. It would also do the same for the production doc URL. So we're just going to leave these blank. Now for the transcript, we're actually going to need to go to YouTube in order to get the transcript, which I'll show you how to do that. So when you click on the YouTube video link, oh, got a little error, so I'm just going to go back over here to this one. Let's see. Oh, okay. So I'm going to copy this one and I'm going to put it up here on YouTube, my search bar. And while that's loading, I'm actually going to edit this. Okay. So now we have that added. So let's see. See if I could. Oops, how did we get all the way over here? Let's delete this. Okay. Oh, that's how I clicked on the add. So I'm gonna pause this. Oh, and if you are looking for like any advice on how to make how to make ads and things like that, be sure to actually check out this channel. So yeah, okay. Anyways, now this is a YouTube video that I'm going to be repurposing content for. So I'm gonna like it, of course, but then I'm gonna go down here, go to more, and then you can scroll all the way down and it will actually show you the transcript. Got the transcript right there. What is going on? 1 second. It's like I was just on there. Pause it. Okay. So go right down here to transcript. And then on the sidebar, it will actually show me the transcript. So, move myself out the way real quick. Okay. And then you can actually be able to toggle the timestamps off. And then you just simply want to take it and copy it. So, copy it all the way down. And then, so just want to make sure that this is copied. So I'm going to do it again. Okay. So go all the way down here and then copy. All right, so now that we have that copied, we just want to paste it into transcript. Now, when this happens, okay, so let me go back, double click into the box and then just go paste. So when you paste it, you will get this long block, but you want it to look actually nice and neat and tight. So what you will do is you'll go right here and then you'll click the row number off to the side. You'll click right to the left of the column A, and then you right click and then you want to go to resize row, and you want to resize the row to, like, I'll do 25 and then just push OK. So basically it resizes it so we don't have that big long block. So if I click right here, it's still there, right? Just so that way the transcript is not so long. Okay, now go back to the make.com and revisit our scenario repurposing content engine. Now, again, the big purple plus button is what's going to build our scenario for us. That's going to build out our foundation, our automation. So when you push this button, it will actually give you access to a lot of different apps that we can connect to. So Make is able to actually connect into these apps and pull the information that it needs. So we are going to click Google Sheets because that is what we need. And then as you can see, once I click into the app Google Sheets, I am met with all these different actions that we can take. So what we're going to be using for this scenario is the watch new rows. So basically this is going to be what triggers the automation. So anytime we add a new row into our repurposing content engine, it will then activate or start the automation workflow, right? So especially if we have it like on instant triggers, then it will start the actual automation. Now, I did do a more in-depth training about this, so be sure to check that out on this channel. I will leave a link in the video. I will leave a link to the video below in the description where I go more into depth about like all the different actions, what they mean, as well as the different triggers. There's only 2 triggers when it comes to make the in order to actually initiate and start the actual automation. But I don't want to make this video too long, but please make sure to check out that video where I'm actually going more into depth about all the different ins and outs of make.com when it comes to making a scenario. Okay, so anyways, we're going to go to watch new rows. So that's what's going to actually trigger the automation to start. And we need to first connect to the Google Sheets. So as you can see here, I've already been working with make.com for this account, so I don't need to add one. But let's say if I needed to, like if you're just doing this for the first time, you're actually going to need to make a connection. So I'm going to name this connection repurposing engine. Okay, and then I'm going to actually sign in to Google Sheets. Again, like I earlier stated, when we sign in, we have to give Make permission to actually pull the information that it needs. All right, so that's one of the cool things about this software is you're actually able to make will actually make the connections for the different softwares through the APIs. Okay, so I'm just going to give it permission and click OK. Okay, so now it's just verifying and we've made the connection. All right, so now as far as search method, we just want to search by path. And then for the drive, we're going to be using our Google Drive. So my Google Drive, the same Google Drive that we originally set up. Let me move this. Is there a way I can actually move this out the way? There's like a little bar right here. It's like I'm going back and forth. So it says choose a spreadsheet ID. Now, I've had some issues with this in the past, so I'm just going to do it this way. We'll choose the repurposing content folder. And then we're going to actually choose the repurposing content engine. So we had to choose the folder first and then actually choose a folder and then click the little plus button on the side to choose the repurposing content engine. Now I think the reason why this happened is because I had made the folder for the repurposing content first, so it pulled that up, and then after that I made the repurposing content sheet. As far as this repurposing content sheet, I made that second. But anyways, it's fine for right now. If it gives us trouble later on, then I'll have to figure out how to get that to work. But now down below you should see sheet name, so you'll just click video queue, which is pretty much pulling this information down here. So it's pulling the video queue. All right, then after that we're going to scroll down. It says tables contain headers. Yes, we need that. And then the row with headers, that will be A1 through Z1. And then as far as the limits, it says the maximum number of results to be worked during one execution cycle. We'll have that to, let's see, this limit to 1. So now after that, we're just going to click save. So come up here and click save. Okay. This says choose where to start. From which point do you want to start processing data? Once your scenario is running, you can process either new or existing items in your account. So you have to select one option to continue. They give us options, choose manually, so you can choose an existing item as a starting point, or all. Start processing the existing item in your first account, and then the specific ID. For this, I'm actually going to choose all, but what we're actually going to end up doing is setting a filter, so that way we'll know anytime a new job is added, then this module, the Google Sheets, will watch for new rows, but it will specifically be able to run when a new job is added, aka like a new YouTube video. We'll go into setting up a filter, but for right now, we'll click the all, and then we'll also save. So down here, you're able to save the workflow. So it's good practice to make sure that you're saving the workflow. And let's see, we had two things right here. It says the drive volume is not in there. We'll just open it up and save it. But anyways, your module should look like this. Okay, so we did save it. Now the next step is we actually want to add another module, and we want to look for our Google Drive. Now, upon looking for our Google Drive, the one that we're looking for is Google Drive, create a new folder. Okay, so I'm going to go here, and then I'm typing in Google Drive. I click the app that I want. Oops, click the app, and then we want to go to Google Drive, and then I'm going to say make or create a new folder right here. Okay, so before I connect my Google Drive, I want to explain what we're doing. If you remember back to the beginning of the training, we made a Google Drive folder for our repurposing content engine, right? And specifically, we made a folder within the repurposing content engine for production, which I'll click right here. So now I want to, inside of the production folder, I want to make another folder that will pretty much be titled the channel name or the client name along with the client ID. So let me give you an example of how this would look like. Well, the client name along with the title of the video. So just so you're able to see what this looks like, this is the already done example, so that way you can see what I'm talking about. So when we go into this scenario, and this is a scenario I've already made, but we actually go to the new folder location, and then we go to the content repurposing engine, and then in production or production, we are making a folder in here. So this is the in production folder, and then we're making a folder within it that's going to be called the client name along with the video title. As an end result, it will be the folder URL that will then be added to the Google Sheet. So if I click into this folder URL, it will actually open up the client along with the video title for that specific row. So as you can see, so it's going to upload the end product. So let's just give it some time to load. But meanwhile, it will open up this row for this video title, repurposing test 17. So and let me try to see if I can open that up again, because for some reason it was acting a little. Okay, so it will open up the actual content repurposing pack. That's the end game. Okay, so now let me move this over and let's go to what we're building. Okay, so now that you have an idea as to where we're going with this, Then let's go back to make.com, and we're going to go ahead and connect our Google Drive, and I want to connect it to my Google Drive. And yeah, I don't really need to name it, so I'm just going to go ahead and connect it. And then when you're on the free plan, just know that with the free plan, if you don't log in to Make for a couple of days, I think it's like 7 days, it will actually log you out of your connections that you have within, the different the different apps that you're using for your workflow. So you'll just have to reconnect it back. Okay, so now I'm connecting. So now it's connected to my Google Drive. 25% complete with the video. Keep on going. Do you hear me though? Keep going, keep going. Drive, and I'm going to go ahead and add the folder. The folder I'm adding is the repurposing folder, and then I'm going to go a little bit more in depth, and I'm going to click the production folder. So the production folder is where my repurposing content is going to lie as far as the correct repurposing folder. So the whole entire goal, so let me bring this back up again. The whole entire goal is to be able to stay organized the whole entire way. So with the in production or the production folder, we will have a lot of different folders within this one folder, and pretty much all of these folders are the ready for review. They're ready for review status, meaning that they have already gone through the workflow, and the content's actually ready to get reviewed. Now let me close out of this. Okay, so now when you pretty much get this set up, then you have to go to the new folder's name, and then you'll actually click in order to start mapping. So basically what mapping is you're pulling information from one of the modules that you need. So for this example, the only other module that we have is the Google search for watch new rows, and we're going to be pulling information that we need to move it into this module. So if that doesn't make any sense to you, it's okay, just follow along. Like I said, I've already made a more in-depth video going over this, but for the sake of this video, I don't want it to be too long, but here's the 2 things that I need. And pretty much this is going to be able to give us our new folder name. So the first one is we're going to need the client name, which is C. And then I'm going to do this little space in between, and then I'm going to add the video title. And then after that, I will go ahead and click save. And then I'm going to save it right here. It's empty, should not be empty. So let's check it. It's not empty, so. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and save. Okay, so now we have this, and we're gonna go ahead and save. So pretty much what we just did in this module is we just told the scenario, hey, if we get any new rows that come in, we want you to pull that new row and make a new folder, just giving us the client name and the video title within the name of the folder, but we want you to put that folder into the repurposing content engine production folder. So make a folder with, well, use the big folder, put the little folder into the big folder that's in the small production folder. I know that kind of makes no sense, but essentially this is what we want to happen. So we want it to go in, so we want the repurposing content engine, we want our folder to go into the in production, and then we want the folder to be like this: client name with the video title. So this is the client name with the video title, and we want it to actually make a folder for us. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and click save. Now, one thing I want to also talk about a little bit is credits. So you remember earlier how I said you get about 1,000 credits per month, and the credits is pretty much anytime you run a scenario. So anytime you run a scenario, expect to use 1 credit, right? So when we actually run the scenario, we're going to get a little thought bubble that's going to come at the top of our bubble, and that's going to let us know how many credits that we run. So to get this started, I'm going to go ahead and go into the repurposing content engine and add a new folder. well, and add a new row, excuse me. So I'm going to come right here, and then also I can just drag this down, and then I'm going to go to new, and then I'm just going to copy and paste this information for the channel name, or the channel ID. Client name is Maury, and then there's really just two things I need for this. I just need the client name, and then I also need the video title. So I'm just going to keep it simple and do that. So that is added to the video queue. And now I'm going to go ahead and run the scenario. So let's go ahead and run it. So as you can see, we got that little thought bubble that's on the top right hand corner, and within this thought bubble it actually gives us information, what they call bundles. But if you see up here at the top, it will let us know we use 1 credit to do this operation. So within our bundle we have the output as well as the oh no, we just have output because it's the first one. So the output that we got was the status column A, and it's getting this information again from the Google sheet. So this is column A, column B, etc., etc. All right, and then if we ever want to go deeper into it, we can actually click the plus sign and be able to see the data that it pulled. So this is the transcript that it pulled. Pretty cool. All right, so but the two main things that I needed was the the client name along with the video title that I mapped into the Google Drive. So as you can see here, it did 1 thought bubble, and so this also used 1 credit. So altogether so far we have used 2 credits for this scenario. Okay, so what should have happened now is it ran, and I should actually have a folder waiting for me in my Google Drive production. So as you can see, it put that folder in there. So make sure that it's like that on yours. If it's not, then you'll need to troubleshoot it and rewind it back and see what you did wrong. But you should have a folder like this. Okay, boom. So I was able to do that. Now the next step. Okay, so now the next step is we are actually going to go into the repurposing content engine, and we're going to make another sheet, which we're going to call this channel profile. So let's say later on down the road you want to add different channel profiles, right? And when you're getting new clients, you don't really, you could, but the whole idea of this automation is to be able to save time. So if you're getting multiple clients, you want to have it to where you're able just to switch out the client profile but keep the automation. So that way you're able to save time. You don't have to keep going back and rebuilding automations and things like that. So you're able to have it to where you have all your channel profiles in one sheet. So this is the whole idea of having the channel profile. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back to this one so you can see what the channel profiles would look like. So the channel profile, I'm going to just copy and paste it over to the new sheet. Okay, let me go back and do this like this. So the channel profiles would have, like, for example, the channel ID, the client or the channel name, the voice profile, the target audience, the default offer, the default call to action, and then any banded phrases and special instructions. So now I just plugged in the information that I got from the finished product, and so we have our channel ID, and then we have the channel name. We also have the voice profile along with the target audience, the default offer, as well as the default call to action and the branded phrases. So this gives us an idea of how we are going to rewrite and repurpose the content, giving the AI some guardrails. So yeah, so now that I have that, I can actually go back to the workflow and be able to make the next module. Now, The next module is going to be Google Sheets, but we are going to search for a new row. So going to add that here, type in Google Sheets. Okay, click on it, and then the action that we're looking for is we want to search for the rows. So search for row. Okay, now let's see, go into the sheet name. I'm looking for repurpose. All right, now I have my sheet name. Spreadsheet name. I'm going to be looking for the sheet name, which is channel profiles. Okay, so basically with this module, we are going to be looking for the channel ID. So I'm telling this module, basically, I want you to go to the Google Sheets and then go to the Google spreadsheet for the repurposing content engine, and then go to this channel profile and look for the channel ID. That's what I want to be done for this module. So I would then click, let's see, channel ID, and then as far as the filter, it would say channel ID A, text operates equals to, and then it will say channel ID. So channel ID A will equal to channel ID for the watch row will equal channel ID B. Okay, so let me explain what we just did here. All right, so right now for channel ID, we have it in two places. We have channel ID in the channel profiles, but then we also have channel ID for video queue. So we have it right here too. So I'm basically telling Make Automation, hey, I need you to pull or search for the row that has the channel ID for channel profile and match it for the channel ID in the video queue. Okay, so I click back up here, and let me just explain this a little bit more too, because this was a little bit confusing to me at first. So right now, when I click here, right, I click right here, you will see that anytime I'm pulling data and information from a module, it will actually start pulsing, letting me know, hey, you're pulling information from this module. Kind of, it's like a visual to keep me organized, so that way I know, okay, I'm pulling information from this module and it's going into the current module that I have open. So let me close all of these folders, so all of these different modules, so that way you can see. Right now I'm in the Google Sheets search for row, right? So I'm pulling the data, the channel ID, from the Google Sheets watch new rows. Okay, so this one I'm pulling information from is from this one, aka I'm pulling the information from the video queue, because if you remember, let me quickly save this. But if you remember, this workflow starts with the video queue. So it starts from the repurposing content engine, but from the video queue sheet name. So I'm going to save this again. I'm going to go back here to the Google Sheets search rows. And now I just want to make sure that I have everything I need. As far as the sort order, it's going to be ascending, and then limit is just going to be 1. 1 for now, because we're testing for right now. Okay, and then I'm going to click save. Okay, now I'm going to save this. So next, I'm going to add one more sheet to this repurposing content engine, and that's going to be the prompt register. I'm going to slide it over to the side and rename it prompt register. Okay, so prompt register. So got the prompt register, and this is what the finished product is going to look like. We're going to have the prompt key, the version, the document ID, status, as well as the output format and the updated ad, yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to just, let's see, I'm going to copy it and paste it over. Okay. Now, as far as the prompt key, that's basically going to be what prompt that we're going to be using. So for this workflow automation, we are going to make a master prompt that's going to be in a Google Doc, and that is what OpenAI is going to use in order to give us our repurposed content. Okay, so for this, as far as what I named it, it's called the Content Pack Master. Content Pack Master is pretty much the master prompt doc. So I'm going to say Content Pack Master. Then I'll put this as version 1. All right, I'm going to click back in this because I actually want to make it a number. Very important to make it a number. And then let's put this, shorten the zero a little bit. Now for the document ID, that's going to be the master document ID, or the master prompt document ID that we're going to use for this video. And if you're watching this, if you've gotten this far, I will leave the master prompt document down below in the description. I'm probably gonna make a Facebook group and just have it there that you can grab all these resources in. But basically, just make sure to make a copy of it, and that's going to be what you can use in order to make different versions of the prompt. You can switch out the different prompts and things like that, but the master prompt document is a good starting place. So as far as status, we'll put active, and then for the output we'll put HTML, and then let's see, for the date we would just, I think we just leave the date alone. Okay, no, actually, yeah, let's do the date. That's gonna be today's date. Oop, today's the 20th. Ooh, this month is going by fast. Okay, so let me take this space away. Okay, now we're going to come back to this. So we have that, and now we're going to go back to the make automation, and I'm going to add a new module. This module I'm going to add is pretty much the same module as last time, but there are a little bit of differences, and I guess this will be a good time to show you how to actually copy and clone one. So you'll just right click, you'll hover over the module and you'll right click, and then you'll clone. So I cloned it, and then I can connect it back. Oh, also, before I go any further, I actually want to add a filter from the Google Sheets, watch new row, and then the Google Drive, create a folder. So let me show you the filter that I'm going to make. Okay, so this filter is going to pretty much be, I named it only process complete new jobs if the status equals new, and then also if there is a transcript, or if a transcript actually exists. Okay, and if the transcript exists, and if the channel ID exists. Okay, so basically we're telling our workflow automation only make the folder if those three things exist. Okay, so just giving you another visual. So only make it if the status is new, if the channel ID exists, and if the transcript exists as well. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, so those are our three conditions. So I'm gonna go ahead and make it right here as well, so that way you're able to see me make it. So in order to make a filter, you actually have to hover over this, and then you'll right click it, and then you're able to set up a filter. So filter says, hey, only do this if these conditions are met. Okay. All right. So don't mind me, but I'm just going to copy and paste a lot of this stuff. Just make it go by a little bit faster. Now again, when I do the conditions, I'm mapping. So again, make sure that you're pulling from the right module, and anytime that you're pulling from the module, it should pulsate, letting you know, hey, you're pulling from me. Okay. So first thing is if the status is new. So status, and then the text operate equals to new. Now again, if you don't know what the different filters are, I highly recommend you checking out my Make Foundation course. Highly recommend that you check that out. Okay, and then I'll also do move me out the way. I can just keep on getting in the way. Okay, and then I'll do add and rule. So basically, add and rule means that and it has to meet these conditions. Add or rule means, hey, it can meet one of these conditions. So we need it to meet all three. All right, so the next one that we need is the channel ID. A channel ID must be added, and then we're going to switch it from text operates to the basic operator, so it has to exist. Okay, and then we're going to add another one. We have to have a transcript. Okay, so do transcript, and then we're going to also do the basic operations, and it has to exist. So now we save, and then remember, always save at the bottom too. Okay, good. Just, I was meaning to do that a little bit earlier, but I started to get going and then I forgot. All right, so next, let's go ahead and revisit the module that we have over here, the newest module, and we want to go ahead and edit this. So there are a few things that we're going to do differently in this module. The first thing is we're going to switch the name, the sheet name, to prompt register. Okay, so we're going to do that first. Right here, we want prompt key A, and then equals to content pack. So let me delete this, do delete, and then I'm going to type in content underscore pack underscore master. Add a filter, another condition, which is status. So status, text operates equals to, and then status is going to be active. Now, I'm going to go ahead and save this, but I want to reopen it again and show you where we got this information. Because again, I know if this is like your first time watching this, this could be a little bit confusing. So I went in here to get this information. So I went down here to the prompt register, and we're pulling that information from the prompt register. So we're pulling the prompt key, the active status active, the prompt key, the content pack master is what we have for the prompt key. All right, because you're probably watching it, you might wondering, okay, where do we get all that stuff? So basically this filter says, hey, I want you to search for new rows that have the prompt key that equals to the content master pack, and then that is active. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and save this. So now I am going to pretty much make a master prompt. Now I've already made this master prompt, so all I'm going to do is actually be able to share this document and then move it to this Gmail account. Okay, so I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to share it. But essentially you'll have access to this as well. All you would need to do is, again, you need to join the Facebook group, and I will have all of these resources for you in that group. Okay. All right. So basically anybody with a link. So I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick, copy it over the link, and I am going to put it in here because I need this master prompt in order to actually be able to get my repurposed content. So eventually I'm going to be using AI for the open source, and I'm going to be able to actually prompt the AI to repurpose the content. Okay, so I'm going to come right here and then I'm going to make a copy. And this is the same process that you'll do. So I'll share the link with you, and then when you go in, you won't be able to make any edits, but you will be able to make a copy of this, so that way on your own copy you can make edits. So click out of this, and before I go any further, I do want to just explain this prompt a little bit more. Okay, so with this prompt, it's pretty much giving OpenAI instructions. So at the top, I say, turn the YouTube transcript below into a complete content pack. Follow the creator's voice profile. Don't invent facts, statistics, experiences, results, or quotations. Return a raw UTML only. Do not use markdowns. Do not use code fences. Do not explain your process. Okay, and then here I have this highlighted, but use the source data block appended by the automation as the factual input. If a optional field is blank, treat it as not provided, and then never repeat the source data tags in the output. And then here's what I want kind of like the output to look like as far as, you know, the content repurposing pack. I want headlines, so I want the LinkedIn post, the LinkedIn post story, the LinkedIn post framework, the threads. I want 6 to 9 threads. I want the newsletter section. So I'm just giving it more detail. I want a short form video script. So I'm not gonna like read everything that's on this document. You will have access to the document, so feel free to read it, but this is just like a prompt that I gave it in order to get something going for the repurposing. Now eventually I do plan on going back and reviving and editing this prompt, making it a little bit better, adding more taste into it so it doesn't sound like it's AI generated, you know, but this is what I have for right now. Okay, so this is the master prompt that then OpenAI will pull in order to come up with the repurposed content from the YouTube script. So next, let's go ahead and do the next module. The next module is going to be the Google Doc. So we're going to do the Google Docs, get content of a document. Okay, so that's going to be the next step. So we're going to add a module, and then we type in doc, scroll down to Google Docs, and then we're looking for get content of document. So it gets a content of the document, meaning that we need to get the document ID. Okay, and let's go ahead and get this started. So I did, let's see. One second. Before I go any further, I need to actually find this doc. So I was meaning to tell you that we need to actually go back to our Google Drive and go to the repurposing content engine, and then click on the prompt library. And there are 3 folders that we're going to make. We're going to make the test folder, the active folder, and the archive folder. Now, we are going to be using the active folder because that prompt that we're using is going to be active. Okay, meaning to tell you that, I forgot, but hey, we're here to learn. So this is the active. So this is where our master prompt is going to live, in the active folder. And then I also am going to make an archived folder. Archived. Pretty sure I spelled that wrong. Archived. I probably spelled it right. Okay, anyways. And then we're going to also make the test folder. All right. So now we got those 3 folders, and then within this folder we are going to have the master prompt, which I'm going to go ahead and move. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to move it into that folder. So I'm going to go to production, Then I'm going to click on it, right? And then I'm going to go, hold on. Oh, not production, just kidding. I'm going to go to templates. No, wait. Prompt library. Oh my God. Prompt library. And then I'm going to go to active, and then I'm going to move it into active. So that should be in my drive. Okay, now I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to go ahead and connect the document that I need. I need to actually connect this, so I'm going to just call it master prompt, and I'm going to sign in. So basically what I'm doing with this is I'm signing into my Google Doc and telling Make, hey, I'm giving you permission to have access to my Google Doc. Okay, and then I just push continue, and it's waiting for authorization. So that's what I'm getting right now. Okay. Also, while this is going, if you're getting good use of this, please comment good use or great job or something, just letting me know that you're getting good use of this. All right, so now get content of a document mapping, and we need the ID. So if I go back here, I am moving me out the way. Let me move myself out the way, and let me just go through this. So I'm going to close all of these up, so that way you have a better understanding of what I'm actually pulling from. So the document ID I'm going to get from the prompt register. So I want the document ID column right here. Gotta move me out the way again. Let me see, move me down here. But I need, oh my God, it's like keeps following me. Keeps following me. Move down here. Thank you. Okay, so I want this document ID, so that would be column C. Okay, and remember, this is from the prompt register sheet. So when I'm going into the document ID, I'm going to be looking for the search row, and the search row would be for 6. So as you can see, it's pulsating right here. It's pulsating on the side. If I zoom out, see if it will let me zoom out. Okay, it won't let me zoom out, but or maybe I can move this. Let's see if I can move this over. Okay, anyways, but I want to pull from this sheet, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure. I know I want to pull the prompt register. I want to pull from the prompt register sheet, right? So as you can see here, this would be the correct one because the sheet says prompt, and I kind of know that this is the right one. So I'm going to pull the ID. So I need the document ID. I'm going to put it right here. Okay. This is in the way. I might just do away with the face because honestly it's in my way. So I'm hiding my face, but I will just have it right here. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and click save. So we have it saved. All right, all good to go. So let's recap what we have so far. Starting from the beginning, we have Google Sheets watch new row. So anytime we add a new row to the video queue, I feel like I'm still being shown, but oh well, I'm just going to keep moving myself out of the way. But anytime we have a video queue added, a new row added to the video queue, if it's the status is new, or I mean if the status is new with a channel ID and then with the transcript and with a video title, it will then start the automation. Okay, so this action, this trigger is going to be watching for any new rows that are added that meet those 3 conditions. Then it's going to create a Google folder for us. It's going to create a production folder. It's going to create a folder inside of production. So I'm going to go back. It's going to create a folder inside of production that's going to be titled the client name and the video title. Okay. Now, after that, is added, then it's going to be searching for rows. It's going to be searching for rows for the channel profile. So it's going to be searching for the channel ID. The channel ID needs to equal the channel ID for the video queue. So basically, the channel ID for the channel profiles needs to equal the channel ID for the video queue. Okay. All right. So that's the other step. And then the next step is it then needs to it's then going to be searching for the row for the prompt. So we need to have some type of prompt that the automation can then run in order to create the repurposing content. So with this step, it's going to be searching the Google Sheets, and it's going to be looking for the prompt sheet, for the sheet name prompt register, and then it needs to meet these conditions. So the prompt needs to come from the content prompt master, and then it also needs to be active. So the status needs to be active in order for it to search. That's the information that it's searching for. Okay. Then after that, excuse me, we have the Google Docs. So next, it's looking to get content of a document. So it's looking to get the content that we put for the master prompt. Now we have not yet added the let me go back here. We have not yet added the document ID. So basically the document ID would be the numbers that are in between, or the numbers and letters that are in between this / and then this /. So 50% complete with the video. Keep on going, just keep swimming, just to keep swimming. Okay, so like I was saying, you would plug the document ID right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. Give me a second. Copy it, and then I'm plugging in the ID right here. Okay. Okay, so that is the document ID. All right. Now let's continue on with what we got. So yeah, so that's the recap. Okay, so next we are going to go to a new module, and we're going to go to OpenAI, and then we're going to come up here and we're going to type in OpenAI. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for OpenAI, and then we want to generate a response. Now here we're going to go ahead and connect our we're going to go ahead and connect. Let's see. First time you need to add, okay, so yeah, so when you're doing this, you are going to need a API key, and basically the API key is what you're going to need in order for ChatGPT to actually run prompts without you necessarily being on the ChatGPT I guess website or whatever. So with the API key, it pretty much is a special key that you will need to plug in order for ChatGPT to work in any automations or anything that's like third party to OpenAI. So let me show you how to do that. And don't worry, all you need to do is put like $5 or $10 into your billing and credits, and that way you'll be able to use it. So what you want to do is go to OpenAI, and you're going to look for OpenAI API. So I'm going to type that in right here. I'm going to say OpenAI, or yeah, we could do developers, it's fine. Okay. And then I'm going to go right here for it's not necessary. Well, actually, I'm just going to go to OpenAI developers. How about that? And then I'm looking for the API platform. So I'm just going to click right here, and I'm going to believe I need to log in. I should be already logged in, but if not, it's okay. Obviously, I do authentication. It's been invalidated. Okay, so it logged me out, so I have to log back in. So give me a second. So now you just click right here to API keys, and once you click there, you will be able to actually add a API key. Now, if you don't, well, you'll be able to create an API key. Now, if you don't have a credit balance, you would need to add a debit or credit card, and then you can do a balance. So I think you will go to personal, and then let's see if I can figure out how I did this. 1 second, because you should be able to actually add some credit. So you, like right here, it will say credit balance, and if you have no balance, it will say zero. I recommend just adding about $5 to $10, because every time you run a prompt, and depending on like what GPT model you use, it should only cost like a few pennies. It shouldn't even cost that many. But yeah, so with the API key, share your API key, but what you will do is you'll come up here and you can actually create a new secret key. Once you create a new secret key, so you'll come right here, you'll create it, you can add like your name or your project name, and then you do default project, and then it will create you a secret key in which you can put that secret key right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna title mine Repurpose. So Repurpose, yeah, repurpose, and then content. Now it's gonna go ahead and create me a key. You cannot see my key. Now it has now added my key on there. So essentially I should be good to go. Go ahead and save this. Never. Alright, so I'm good to go. Now I'm connected and it has my API key. And now I can pick what model I want to use. Now, be very, very careful as to what model that you use. Since we are just doing testing, I recommend using the mini. I think it's like GPT-5. It's GPT, oops, let me make sure I'm typing. GPT-5 mini. Let's see if I found it. It's GPT-5 mini, or maybe I'll just go like this. GPT, and then there's a certain one that I'm looking for. GPT-5 mini. So it should be this one. There we go. And then as far as prompt type, we're going to do text. Okay. Now for the prompt, we are not going to actually have like a whole prompt. That was the whole idea of making this master prompt. So basically I'm going to have my automation go to this document to reference the prompt. Okay, so here's how I'm going to set this up. Now this is very beginner friendly, and I'm taking it, somebody that's watching this, or mainly the people that are watching this, are people like, for example, that might not know how to code. Like me, I don't know how to code, right? So I had to figure out how can I do this and make it as simple as possible and still be effective. Okay, so with the prompt, I'm going to be pulling from the Google Doc. So first thing I'm looking for is the actual content. So I need the text content. So I'm going to plug that in there, and then I'm going to space it, and I'm going to add my prompt. So it's not going to be like, oh, make sure you do this, do that. I'm actually going to be pulling the information that I need from the source data. So as you can see here, we have the source data, and it gives it instructions on what I need it to do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add that. Now, make this a little bit easier and to save time, I'm going to just be copying and pasting the source data. So come right here, and then let's see if it will let me. Come on. Okay, might not let me. Oh, now it wants to let me. Jesus. Copy it, and then come right here, and then going to, oops, geez Louise, let's go right here. So yeah, the goal is to make it very simple to use. So just copy and paste the source data. Oh, another thing I'm gonna also give you access to is the blueprint, the actual JSON to this. So that way, if you're watching this and you don't really want to build it out, then you'll have the JSON available. And if you have any questions, please, 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 for right now, go to the Facebook group and ask the question there. I'm wanting to build a community of people, to have people in the community that can actually help. So I'm all about helping, and if I don't know the answer, perhaps somebody in the group will know the answer. Okay, so let's see. So right now we have the data source, and then there are going to be pieces of information that we need to add. We need to add, like for example, the client name. We need to add the client's, the channel, the client name, the video title. We need to be adding these things in, right? And to just make it a little bit easier, for the sake of time, because I know this is a pretty lengthy course, I'm going to go ahead and do it like this. So I'm going to be pulling information, and I'm not going to be like taking the text that's in the green, because I need to pull my own mapping for that within the workflow that I'm in. So let's say, for example, right here, I'm going to copy client name. Okay, client name. I might just have to type it out, actually. It might just be easier that way. So just to make this a little bit more simpler, I just went ahead and went to my notes and just made what I need as far as text. Okay, so I'm going to delete this, and then I am going to give it some time to actually delete. 1 second. Okay, and then I'm going to just paste in the text. So this is what I need, and then also I need to actually map the data, the information that I need from the other modules. So there's 2 modules that I'm going to be pulling information from, and that's going to be first from the watch new row, and then I'm also going to need to be pulling information from the channel profiles, from this module, the channel profile Google Sheets. Okay, so initially for me, this was a little bit confusing when it came to actually mapping, but the more that you do it, the more you'll be able to understand. Okay, so starting with the client name, I need to pull from the watch new row, which I'm going to close all of these up and go to the one that I need. And basically these folders are all the modules that we have, because remember, we're pulling in the information, we're mapping in the information that we need into the module that we have right now, which is the OpenAI. Okay, now I'm looking for the channel or the client name, and that's going to be right here. So I'm just going to click it, and when I click it, it will actually just add it down here. So I need that, and then I also need the video title, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that information. And then I also need the YouTube URL, which I can find down here. I'm going to add that. Now, as far as the rest, like the voice profile, the target audience, the main offer, I'm going to be able to find that from the channel profile. Okay, so I'm going to close this one up, because this is really just for the video queue. So the first module that we have is for video queue, which is right here. So basically, so far for the OpenAI module, we pulled in this information: channel ID, client name, YouTube URL, and the video title along. Yeah, so we pulled that in. So that's what we need. Okay, now we're going to go back and we're going to get the voice profile. Now the voice profile, target audience, main offer, call to action, banded phrases, and special instructions, those are all in the channel profile, which is on this sheet. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and plug in that information that we need. So I'm going to return, get back up here, right here, and then I just click it, and it's going to pull up the mapping that I need. So I'm going to close out of the watch new row, and now I'm going to get the right one that I need. And if you are having trouble figuring out which one, just if you move up a little bit, it will show you like, hey, this is Google search row, and this is 4, so you match it up. Google Sheet 4 search rows. Now we just click that down arrow, and now we're looking for the voice profile. The voice profile will be C, so we add it, And then our target audience is D, so we'll add that. And then our main offer is, let's see, we'll find the main offer, which is default offer, same thing. And then call to action will be right here, default call to action, CTA. And then the banded phrases, excuse me, would be right here. So we just map it. And then our special instructions. Our special instructions will be right here. Okay. So last thing that we need to get is the actual transcript. So if you look down here, we don't see the transcript because that is actually in the watch for new rows. Okay. That's in that module. So we'll click it down and then we'll click transcript. So boom. And then I ended it with the source data. So that is a simpler way of putting in the master prompt. Okay. So basically with this prompt, what we're telling AI is, hey, we want you to follow this master prompt that we have in this document. So follow the content text, but also with the source data, we also want you to also abide by what we put for the source data. So make sure that you're repurposing the content for the video title, the client's name, the YouTube URL, the voice profile, the target audience, the main offer, the call to action, and let's say if there's any banded phrases, we don't want you to put those phrases in there. And then let's say if we add any special instructions, say, hey, do it this way, or make sure that you blah blah blah, whatever the special instructions are, we have that there too. And then with the transcript, this is the transcript that you're going to be using. So that is pretty much what we'll have for the prompt. Basically, this is the prompt. Okay, now you can see how we can actually change this out. So let's say, for example, if we're running like a different client account, then and let's say, for example, we have like a completely different prompt that we want to use. Let's say if we want to like add a blog or something like that, we can go in and actually make another master prompt and then map it back out, so that way the automation pulls from the correct master prompt within this text. So it's really, you can tweak it how you want, but basically this is what we have so far. So we'll go ahead and save it. Oh, and then before I go, we're going to do the max output token. I'm going to put about 3,500. There we go. Then I'm going to save. Right here, we'll go ahead and save. It always says that, but there is information in there. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Let's just save it. So we're going to go ahead and save, and then we're going to go ahead and save. All right. So now we are almost to the finish line. We only have 2 more modules to go. Okay, so the first one, the next module that we're going to do is we're going to tell the automation to actually create a new document, a new Google Doc. So upon the results that we get from OpenAI, we need OpenAI to then take that information and put it into a Google Doc. So I'm going to go to add, and then we also needed to add it to a folder, and we needed to name the folder. Okay, so now we're going to go to Google Docs, and then we're going to say, I need you to create a new document. So I'm just going to go create, and then I should just say create a new document. Okay, and remember the format that we use for the prompt register is the HTML. So we also put that into the prompt, like, hey, make sure that it is you do return raw HTML only. Okay, so okay, now we're going to name it, and we want to name it the client name along with the title of the video. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to close this out, and I am looking for the client name in the client video, or the title of the video, or video title. So we're going to be able to find that from the watch new row. So remember, we're finding that from the video queue. So that's going to be on the watch new row for this sheet. Okay, so we're going to get the client name, and then I'm going to do a little dash, and then I also want the video title, And then as far as the content that we're getting, we need the results from the OpenAI prompt. So whatever the results that we got after we run the OpenAI prompt. So we need those results. So let's find them. We see results right here. We're going to need that. So click it. All right. And then we're going to choose a drive, my drive. I need it from my drive. And then we're going to choose where we want our document to be. So this is why it's so important to make sure that you are using your Google Drive, that you are following along. So now you go to, we want to actually have a new document. So actually to be able to map out. So I'm going to map it out, and I want it to come from the Google Drive folder. So toggle my map on, and then I actually want it to come from the Google Drive, and then I'm going to go to folder. So I'm looking for folder right here, folder ID. Now I hope that was the right one. Hopefully I did that correctly. Give me a second. Now I'm going to go ahead and save. Now let me explain what happened with this. Okay, so this is good. I don't know why that error keeps popping up, but let's save it. Okay, so when it comes to where we want this new document, remember right here we have this Google Drive, and as far as where we want our new content to be at, we want it to be in the repurposing content engine folder that's in, but the production folder is actually in the repurposing the production folder is in the repurposing content engine folder. Okay, so that's actually where we want our document to be in, excuse me. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. All right, and then I'm going to save it at the bottom. Now there's one more step that we need to do, and before we do that, I'm going to just go ahead and run it to make sure that no errors are coming. Oh, well, excuse me. First, I need to actually add a new row. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to copy and paste it, and I'm just going to add a new row right here. Okay, this is test 2. Okay, now I can run it and see. Let's see what happens. Oh, hold on. Still not going. Exists. Oh, I did add that. Hold on 1 second. It is saying that I need to make sure I follow the filters. Okay, so here, that's how we learn. All right, so let me make sure that I'm actually doing this correctly. So I'm going to delete these two. I'm going to delete this one, delete. Okay, I'm going to go to new, right? And I need to add a channel ID, so I'm going to add that. I'm going to go ahead and add the client's name, the video URL, along with the video title. I'm going to switch this to 3, test 3, and then I need to also add the transcript. Remember, we come right here if we don't want that big block, and then we right click and we can resize the row, and I want it to I'm gonna do 25. Okay, so it should make it nice. Okay, so now let's redo it. So let's go through and run it. Should work this time. What, still didn't work? What's going on? So we have this, the status, and then we also have equals to new, and then we have the channel, and it needs to have these 3 things. That's literally what we have. So I'm wondering how come it's not running through. Maybe if we delete the URL and then also said the channel. Hold on, let's do. Status. We can delete the channel, the client name. Okay. Alright, and then we're going to try this one again. Okay, So save, let's try it. We might have to take the filter off. Now, okay, now it works. Okay, so give this some time to load, and now I see what we're going to need to do in the future just to make sure that this works. Because I'm going to probably have to add a couple more things to the filter. See, that's the whole point of, you know, doing these, so that way we're able to troubleshoot. So one thing that you're going to realize about AI automation, you're going to have to get comfortable with troubleshooting. Okay, so now it ran the scenario, and as you can see, we got 1 1 1. All of our thought bubbles say 1. Now just because everything looks good right here, we always have to have that human check and check it in the back end. So now first thing I'm going to do is go revisit the repurposing, and I'm going to look for a couple things. So far, only thing that we've been doing is working on the prompt and then making sure that our file goes to the correct folder. So I want to make sure that that did happen. 75% done. Ayo son, you getting that done? Let's keep going. So now I'm checking in here and I see test 1. I'm going to go ahead and refresh it. As you can see here, I see test 3. Now there is something that I'm missing right here, and we'll have to correct it, but it doesn't actually say the client's name, which is I'm going to have to fix that. But so far so good. Okay, so far that's the only issue. And then when I click in here, I want to make sure that the document actually went through. So I'm going to click, if it will let me, click, and I should have a Google Me. Okay, so now it's opening it up. And as you can see, it went ahead and repurposed the content. So as you can see, it took the video, my video URL, along with the transcript, and it made me a LinkedIn post story, a LinkedIn post framework, and then a LinkedIn, I don't know how to pronounce that, Connertarian, don't make fun of me, X thread, and then it also made me, let's see, newsletter section, and then it made me a short video YouTube script and 5 hooks along with 3 quotes. So 3-line quotes. So far so good. The only thing that we need to address is the name for the document, as well as the name in the folder. So we will need to address that. So let's go back here, and then that filter thing. So we're going to go back here and we're going to go ahead and get this fixed. Now, as you can see right here, it does say the client's name, which I'm wondering why it didn't actually say it in there. It might be because of the filter. So let's go ahead and fix that. So let me go right here and I'm going to see if I can fix it. I'm going to go to add, and then I want the client's name. So I need that client name, right? Client name. And then I'm going to say just basic that it exists. So I'm going to see what happens when I'm going to see what happens when I do that too, because we need that to exist. Okay. So let's save it. And then now let's go back to the the sheet, and we're going to do it again. So now we're going to make sure that we have everything that we need, and I'm going to make a new row, but on this time I'm actually going to add the client's name. Come right here, and then I'm going to add the client's name, and then I'm going to do test 4. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and run it again. Oh, let me save it first. Excuse me. Save. I was meaning to save that. So we're going to run it again. This stops, so let me make sure that it actually saved. Yes, we need the client's name. Okay. So we're just going to try it again. We're not going to really change anything with it. Okay. See this. So now let's try it again, and let's see what we got going on. gonna run it. Still getting stopped right there. I'm wondering why that's happening, guys. This, you're getting to watch me live troubleshoot this. So let's keep on going. I might just remove it, you know, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So client name exists. So what if we, yeah, client name needs to exist. The status needs to be new. Okay. There needs to be, okay. I honestly, oh, I see. I see what happened. The transcript needs to exist. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and do it again. We're going to save it and we're going to do this again. So we have to make a new row. This is why it's so important to test, do a lot of tests to make sure that it's doing what it needs, what you need it to do. And then we're going to come back and we're going to run it. Now it's going. Now it's going through. Okay, that makes sense. So, super important to troubleshoot. So while that's going, guys, I want to hear your thoughts and your opinions, your commentary on this. Make sure that you say nothing, don't say anything rude. If you got good content out of this, please give it a thumbs up. So far, if you're liking this training, please make sure to, if you like content like this, make sure to subscribe. Okay, so now it ran again. So let's check what we got. So one thing I'm going to go in here and do, just out of habit, I just check the repurposing, because the next step will be after it gets done going through, then we want to change the status from new to ready to review, right? Okay, so now I'm going to go into my Google Drive folder. I'm going back to the production, and I want to see, you know, I want to see what happened. Okay, I want to see if what we needed fixed got fixed. So I'm going to come right here. And yes, now it got fixed. It says Mori test 5. I click in it and the document should say Mori test 5. Booyah! Alright. So now we're good to go. Now we have one more step, and that's going to be, we need to make a module that is going to set, so no, it's a lot of movement, but we need to make a module that is going to turn our status from new, so turn it from new to ready for review. And then we also needed to not only do that, but we needed to also give us the folder URL and the production doc URL, so that way we're able to just click in it and then review it and give it a thumbs up or not if it's ready to go. We also needed to give us our prompt key along with the prompt version, so that way we understand and we know exactly where we got the master prompt from. Okay, so it's kind of like thinking long term. Once you get more clients for your repurposing business or whatever, if you're a freelancer or if you have an agency, so that way you are able to be organized from the jump. Okay, now let's see, I'm gonna come back over here. All right, so for this last step, I like to call it the tying everything in step. So we want to update our row with the information that is pretty much pulling all the important information from this whole entire module, right? So first step I'm going to do is come right here, and I promise you this is the last step. So I'm gonna come right here, and then I'm gonna wait for it to load, move my face out the way. Oh my god, please get out of my way, Mori. It keeps following me. Yo, there's like nothing I can do about this right now. Please just go down here. Don't follow me. Don't follow me no more. Okay, so I go to sheets, and then I want to update row. So updates a row. That is what I need to do, and I'm going to choose an account. I don't really understand why it's wanting me to choose an account, but okay. Anyways, I'm going to choose it. I already added it, so shouldn't have to redo it, right? I'm just gonna redo it, gonna reconnect it just in case, so it doesn't give me no problems. But this step is going to be a lot of mapping, but remember, we're tying everything together. So, okay. And then I'm going to go do okay. You can have permissions to my Google Sheet. Fine. All right, guys, we're almost through this long training, but it's a really good workflow that you know how to make. And hey, if you're making a portfolio, you can add this to your portfolio. All right. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to stick with the search method, search by path. I need that. Now the spreadsheet name, we already know that we're pulling from the repurpose. Well, no, actually, I'm gonna do this a little bit different. Just remember what we're dealing with right now. I'm gonna enter it manually. Okay, enter in this manually. Okay. So now this might be a little bit more of an advanced step, but we have to do this in order for everything to go smoothly. So I'm going to enter in the spreadsheet ID, and to find the spreadsheet ID, I actually need to come up here and pull that. So I'm going to move. So I'm going to move my my box so you can actually see what it is that I'm doing. If I can actually get it where I need it to go. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to click right here, and then I'm going to get the spreadsheet ID. If remember, like I said earlier, the ID is going to be in between, right after the D /. So I'm going to pull from the 1 all the way to the C. That is my ID. Okay, and then I'm going to go right back, and I'm going to enter this in. So I'm going to enter it in manually. It alleviates the hassle of trying to find everything that I need. And then let's see right here. Give it time to load. Okay, so then I enter in the spreadsheet name. So it's saying that I could actually search for it. It's my fault. I need to switch the search method to search from, select from all. And then now I'm able to, let's turn this off. Okay, so select from all, but I still want to have that spreadsheet ID that I got from my spreadsheet. But basically with the select from all, I'm able to actually find the correct sheet name, which I'm pulling from video queue. Okay, I got this. Now I need the row number, and for the row number, I'm going to close out of all of this because I'm going to get it from the mapping, and I am going to get it from the Google Sheets watch now or watch new row, because remember that that's our video queue. Okay, so close out of that till I see watch new rows, and then let's go to row. I'm going to select this, so boom, and now we're good to go. So I'm going to click out of that. All right, now we need to fill out all of this information. So basically we're pulling all of this information from the watch new row, starting with the status. For our status, we need it to be ready for review. So remember, when we go back here into the status, remember the status that we made at the beginning of the video. One of the statuses was called ready for review. So I'm going to type that in. Hopefully I don't spell it wrong, but I need ready. I'm going to type this in, ready for review. Okay, channel ID, I'm able to actually map that channel ID, boom. And anytime we're mapping something, it's supposed to be for dynamic change, so that way we're able to manipulate the data a lot easier, because the channel ID is not always going to be Moped Media. The channel ID can be Randy's Repair, right? Or Tony's Taco, or Tina's Tech, whatever, right? But the idea of it is to actually use the column names in order to adjust accordingly. Okay, anywho, we're going to go right here, go to client name, and we're going to match it. So client name, we look for client name. Okay, and then the YouTube URL right here. All we do is click on it. I remember when I first started learning how to do this, I used to try to drag it over. It's like, oh wait, I can just click it. Okay, and then I do video title, folder URL. I need that folder URL. What did I do with that folder URL? Oh, here it is. Folder URL. And then the production URL with the production URL. And now we have the transcript with our transcript. Oh, no, we don't want two in the same thing. So the transcript with the transcript, so we're matching the information together. So basically we're tying it all in. So we need it all tied in from the very beginning. Okay? And then we have the prompt key with the prompt key. And then we have the prompt version with the prompt version. Okay, voila. Now that's all we need. So I'm gonna go ahead and go all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to save it. And then not only that, I'm going to move my thingy-majigger, and oh, let me move it a little further down so that way you can see the bottom of the screen. I'm gonna go ahead and save it. Okay, so now let me explain some of this stuff that's at the bottom actually. So this is able to save. If you ever want to go back with the work that you do, you click this back button. If you ever want to auto align, which will basically put your whole entire scenario in frame so that way you can see how everything's going, then you can use the auto align. If you ever want like a little explanation of where your data is going, just click this button and it will like point to you where the data is going. So boom, boom, so that the data is following this framework, right? If we add a router, it will show you the different ways that your data is going. So pretty cool. All right, this is scenario settings. This is where you'll add your scenario notes, and then this is the version history. This is the flow control, the tools, so on and so forth. Okay, now let's go ahead and see what else needs to be done. So I'm just going to double check to make sure this is good. Okay, this should be the right URL. Make sure I'm not missing anything else. Okay, I think that we are good. So I'm going to go ahead and save. And then I'm going to save right here. Okay, so now I'm going to actually run it. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and try it. Okay, so this should be the final product, guys. I always get a little bit excited after I get done making an automation just because it's so fun to me. Anyways, I'm gonna go right here and I'm going to just copy this row. I'm gonna paste it in to the next row because anytime we need to make a run, we need to make sure that we add a new we need to make sure that we actually add in a new row, okay? And it needs to be in the row status, and it needs to have the channel ID along with the client name and the video title along with the transcript, okay? That's its qualifications. Okay, now let's go ahead and do this. Now I'm gonna go ahead and run it. Oh my god, it's running, it's running, it's running. Hopefully no errors. If there are errors, we are going to have to troubleshoot, okay? So the longest part is going to be the OpenAI one, okay? Oh, another thing I want to say is that when you're on the free plan, if your scenario goes 5 minutes or over, then it won't be able to run for the free plan, okay? If it's underneath 5 minutes, then it's fine, but try not to get too crazy with the automations. Again, this is just a very basic automation to just get something started, okay? All right, now let's see what happened. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay, now I'm going to go to the repurpose and let's see if it actually did what I asked it to do. So there's just a few things. It didn't do the folder URL and it didn't do the production URL either. So that's going to be something that we're going to need to address. Let's see what else. I wonder if there's a way that I can actually close this off, because for some reason I'm not able to see this part. Anyways, all right. Oh, you know what? I needed to add actually the YouTube URL. So before I do that, let me check and make sure that it did the rest of it. because little things like that can actually make a difference. So going to production, and then I'm going to go to back to the production folder, and I'm going to actually make sure that I have the new one in there. As you can see, test 5, that's the new one, and I'm going to click in it, and I just want to make sure that it has what I need it to have. Now I think that's the only thing I could think of as to why it's not on there. Let's see. Okay, yes, so all of that looks good. As you can see, it gave me fresh content as well. Okay, now let's go back in here, and then let me figure out what I did wrong. Okay, so I'm thinking it's because, like, for example, for this last one, it needs to be able to update the row, like update all the rows, and I didn't, there's things that I'm missing from here that might be the reason why it didn't give me like the folder URL or the production document URL. Okay, so that's one reason why I think it didn't do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix that. So I'm actually gonna add a new row, and then I'm going to go through and actually add this information that I have right here. So I'm gonna go through and add this first one because it has the URL, and I don't feel like actually adding, oh my god, I hate when that happens, but I don't feel like actually adding everything that, so let's see what happens. Okay, and then I'm going to do this. This is test 7, 6, 7. Okay, anyways, boom. All right, and then come right here, and we're gonna do it again. Hopefully this works. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, it went through. It went through. Let's go. Still thinking. Let it think. So it's important to troubleshoot. There are errors that's going to happen. So even though it says everything green, it went through, we always want to double check. So first thing I want to make sure is, yeah, we're still not getting the folder URLs or the document URLs. So we're going to have to figure out why that is. So guys, I figured out the reason why, because when I did my mapping, I didn't actually include that I needed a link. So what do I mean by that? So when I go to the Google Sheets, update a row, I need to actually include the link. So I need to tell it, put this link with this document. Okay, so it doesn't just know to do that. So right now it's just pulling the information, but I need it to be in a link form for the folder URL and then for the production URL. So to give you an idea what this looks like, we just need to have the drive.google.com and then the folder, the drive folder. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it in here. Okay, I'm going to put it before, so give it a second. This happens sometimes, but the key thing is to make sure that we are figuring this stuff out. Okay, so, and then, like, let's say if you are struggling, just go to ChatGPT, be very specific, upload screenshots so they can actually be able to help you too. Okay, and then same thing with the production doc. So I wanted to have the production, I wanted to have the Google Doc, I want the Google Doc link along with the document ID. So if you remember what we did earlier, where we're able to actually get the Google Doc, so instead of it saying production doc URL, we actually want the Google Doc ID. So if we go back in here, I delete this, and then if we go to doc ID, then I have that for the Google Doc. So this will be the actual content, repurposing content doc. Like it would be actually this. Okay, well, just an example. It won't necessarily be this specific document, but it will be a document basically that is of this nature. Okay, and then we're going to also put the slash edit. at the end. Wait, should be edit slash. Let's make sure. Yes. Wait. My God, give me a second. Slash edit. Boom. Let me just leave it like that. Okay. Now, just double checking, because I did this before actually shooting this video to make sure I got everything all good to go. Oh, also, the prompt key ID, we need the prompt key from the prompt register. Okay, so that's another thing. So right now we have it for just the channel. Right now we have it for the video queue, which would be these two, but we actually need it for the prompt register. So we need it for, we need the prompt key right here and the actual, what was it? Hold on. We actually need, yeah, the prompt key and then the prompt version. The prompt version will actually be right here. Okay, so we actually need to pull that information. So I'll go right here and I'm gonna go ahead and get that. So now, before I do it, I want to make sure I'm closing out of all of these different, I guess, modules. So that way we're able to actually find the right module that we need. So basically, again, we need the prompt key from the prompt register. So I have to be able to find that. So I don't think it's this one. Oh, it is this one because I see prompt register right here. And then I need the prompt key, which is right here. And then I also need the prompt version. The prompt version, I need to be able to find it. That would be right here. Okay, so now I think I'm good to save it now. Okay, first one was a false alarm, and then I'm gonna go ahead and save it down here. Okay, now let's go ahead and add a new row. So yes, you will accumulate a lot of new rows when you are doing this. Okay, so I need new, and then just to make this a little bit quicker, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to copy the information that I need, which is right here. I'm going to go like this. And then always want to make sure that we are minimizing or resizing. So go right here. And then right click and then resize, and then we're going to go to, we'll just leave it at 21. Okay, I also want that link to be highlighted, and then I'm going to rename this to test 8. Okay, so now we're going to try it again. It should work. Okay, so let's run once. Let it run. So guys, this is part of it. You gotta troubleshoot. This is why I encourage you to join the Facebook group for right now, because anytime you have questions, feel free to actually go in there and ask the questions. Maybe by the time that you're watching it, we'll have more people in there that can help if I don't get back to you in a timely manner. But you know, if I don't, then try ChatGPT. I will be dropping basically a playlist to help you get better at prompting, because prompt engineering is super important if you want to use AI on the regular, and even for work. It's very important to understand how to talk to the AI and how to actually get what you need from it. Okay, now let's see. Okay, oh yeah, so it actually did what I needed to do. So it went to ready for review, and then now we have what we need. So we actually have the folder URL, and then we have the production URL along with I wonder if there's a way that I can actually make this a little cleaner, but we have the content pack is for the prompt key, and then we have what version we use is version 1. So that is everything that we need. And of course, as always, if you want to make it a little bit simpler, you can just click right in here on the folder URL. You can click in there, and oh my God, we have an error. So we have another error. So we're going to have to figure out what happened with this error. So we'll figure that out a little bit later. But the next thing we're going to look at is making sure that the document is correct that's in there. Make sure that doesn't have an error in it either. So we're going to click that, and this one looks promising. We can see Mori test 8 that's in there. So all right, okay, all of this looks good. Okay, I mean, you know guys, I like it so far. So only thing we need to really fix is this 404. So we're gonna have to figure out, okay, why do we have a 404 right here? It's a broken link. We are going to have to resolve that. So I think I know what I did wrong here. So for the Google Drive, we actually need to get this from the correct module. So right now, this folder ID, folder URL that it's getting it from is actually from the repurpose content video queue, and we actually needed to get it from the Google Drive. So that is the issue, I'm willing to bet. So I'm going to come right here, I'm going to click on it, and it should pull up my mapping. I'm going to close out of this, and I'm going to keep closing until I see the yellow Google Drive. So I personally get excited whenever errors are there, because that allows me to figure out what the heck those errors are from. So now I go to folder ID right here, and then I click save. So now we're going to redo it again. Save it at the bottom. All right, now we're going to go ahead and run this again, guys. So you get to see live. Yes, it is a lot of trial and error until we get it right. We're gonna have to get it right, and it just goes to show you, even if on the front end on make.com is saying, hey, everything went through, it's good to go, you always want to click and follow your tracks or retrace your tracks to make sure we're good to go on the back end. Okay, so super uber duper important that we do that. Super uber duper important. Okay, so now I'm going to set it new, let it load. Come on, we're almost done. We're almost done, I promise. It's just, hey, anytime I find an error, we ain't gonna leave it till we get it right. Oh my god. Go back. Okay, I'm copying and pasting all this information that I need right here, hoping that I get it. Okay, and then remember, come right here, right click, in order to resize it the way we need it to be. So I want it to be 21. Okay, and then before I go, let's do 9. And then now we're good to Gizmo. Oh, also, I want to make sure that I actually have this down. It's like down here, so I'm gonna pull it down right here. Oh my god, come on now, don't give me a hard time. Don't give me a hard time. Boom. That did not work. Oh, 1 second, y'all. I'm copying this link and I'm gonna paste it right here. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and go back to make.com, and we're gonna run this again. So it should be good. It should be all good. Okay, and you already know the longest part is it actually using the OpenAI to generate that. Oh, again, going back to the OpenAI, if you have questions or you just wanted to know how to do that, just type in OpenAI IPI on YouTube, and you should be able to find a video on how to do it. It's actually pretty simple. Okay, so it says it ran. Now I'm actually gonna go back here and check, make sure that that's good. So refresh. It did what it needed to do, and now I gotta check the link. Okay, that link is good. Now we're off to something. We're off to where we need it to be. So far it's good. It's in the folder that we need it to be in, and let's let it load. Let it load. Okay, mine's still loading. So all right, so we can see the breadcrumbs, right? It's in the production folder that's in the Mori test folder. So client name, video title folder, and then I'm actually able to go to the document. So I'm gonna click it. Okay, I don't know why it's taking so long to actually load. All right, my computer's a little laggy just because I got a lot going on in my background. So as you can see, it made us the content Now, again, prompt engineering, super important. This is where prompt engineering comes into place. I will be making a training on how to do prompt engineering, especially for marketing purposes. Okay, this channel is basically for marketing AI, and yeah, so there's different type of prompts that you can use. Yeah, so be on the lookout for that playlist too. Make sure that you turn on your when you subscribe, please turn on your post notifications so that way you are aware. And then super important, join the Facebook group because I will be dropping when I'm going to start making the content for the prompt engineering, which is a super skill set if you are looking to actually use AI on the day-to-day basis. Okay, so now that's good to go. One other thing I'm going to actually go in and check is how the folders are looking like. Just super big on making sure that everything stays organized. So, as you can see here, we have the production folder that's in the repurposing content engine. And then when I click on this folder, I can see all of the tests that I've made so far. Okay, now I'm going to revisit the repurposing content engine spreadsheet, and then as you can see right here, it gave me back everything that I needed, that I asked for, from the production doc URL to the prompt key to the prompt version. All of that is given to me all right here. So guys, we are all done. So you were able to see everything from start to finish, even the hiccups, even the errors, how I went about troubleshooting it. And yeah, so hopefully you got really good use out of this, and you are able to actually go out there and make this. Now, one thing that I will share with you, and this is why it's important to go to the community, and you'll be able to actually have access to the actual blueprint. So basically with the blueprint, all I got to do is export it and it will save it to me in JSON. JSON is a type of language that computers understand. That's how I'm gonna break it down. Okay, so JSON, it's able to break down this, and anytime I actually want to just copy and paste somebody's blueprint, I can just come back here. So let's say for example, I leave this, right? So I leave it, I go back to the scenarios. But if you're looking to make this as a skill set, I highly recommend actually going through and following the steps. But if you're like, hey, Maury, I don't have time for that. I just want to repurpose my content. I want to take my long form content and just repurpose it like so. By all means, go ahead and take it. Okay. And yeah, if you ever need help with how to do this, reach out to me and feel free to book a call with me too. I'll leave my Calendly along with my LinkedIn in the description down below. But anyways, when you make a new scenario, you can come right here and then you can actually import the blueprint. So you'll take it in. So I'm going to to show you how simple it is to actually do it. I'm gonna take this, and it's just JSON language, and I'm going to input the blueprint. So voila, the work's already done for you. Only thing that you're going to have to do is actually connect all your apps. So you're going to have to you're going to have to connect your Google Sheets, your Google Drive, your Google Docs, your OpenAI. So that's what you need to do. And then again, so I'm also going to give you access to the repurposing template along with the master prompt. Yeah, so, and then let's see what else I would give you. Yeah, so those are the two main things that I'm going to give you access to along with the JSON. So that should be more than enough. And then once again, make sure to add the, oh my God, can I move this out the way? It's been bothering me this whole entire time. And it's like I can't click on it, y'all. Oh my God, hold on. But anyways, so make sure that you do join the Facebook group, and when you join, please introduce yourself. That way we know who you are. Share where you're at with your journey. You can share your skill sets and things like that. But the idea of the community is to basically help each other. And then if you need help, feel free to ask what you need help with in there too. So all about making sure that we do help each other. So let me see if I'm able to actually find the link that I had for the Facebook group. This is the Facebook name. It's called Automate with Maury. I literally just made this today, y'all. But yeah, so who knows, by the time you're watching this, there might be even more members than just me. But I do encourage you to follow this group so you are aware of any resources that I have, along with when I'm coming out with more content, so that way you are able to get access to it. So here to help, and I want to make sure that we're all helping each other along the way. Now is the time to actually build and get new skills, so that way we are able to really be able to embrace the new AI, because it's here to stay. So why not learn how to use it, right? So also, with that being said, guys, I hope you really got good value out of this. Hope you really got good value out of this. And if you feel like you need just a little bit more training on make.com, by the time you're watching this, there is already a Make foundation course that I have uploaded to the YouTube channel, which goes in more into depth about the modules, the apps, the different actions, the triggers, and kind of like a little more technical, so that you get a better understanding of what you need to do, okay, and how to actually build this for yourself. So make, especially make.com, is not just limited to repurposing content. There's a lot of AI automation workflows that you can make, from checking emails. You can have it check your email and write a response. There's so many out there. Let me know in the comments if you actually want me to make a video talking about the different use cases and what you can use make.com for. It's super great tool to use. So check out the link to this software in the description down below as well. And with that being said, I will not take up too much more of your time. If you made it to the end, give it a thumbs up, comment what you like most about the video, and yeah, so with that being said, peace.
All right, so if you've made it to the end of the video, great job. Now the next video is going to be a continuation of the repurposing content workflow automation, but the next phase is we're going to build on the end of the scenario. So after we do the repurposing content, the content needs to then be approved, it needs to be reviewed, and then approved by a human, and then be able to launch across LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever, So we're going to be using LinkedIn, for example. I'm going to build routers and connections between the actual LinkedIn app and make.com, so that way after a human goes through and me, you, the people that are going to use this automation, after they go through and review the content, then they're able to switch the status from review to approve, and then actually be able to use automation to publish the content out there. Okay, so and being able to do that with the click of a button. So yeah, make sure to stay tuned for that. And also please make sure to join the Facebook group, so that way you do have access to all the resources that were mentioned in this video. Again, if you have any other content ideas, please let me know in the comments down below. Feel free to reach out to me. Peace.